Welcome to my Easy IELTS channel. I hope you've been enjoying the question and answer of part 1 speaking test, and I'm sure you would have gained a wealth of knowledge and a wide range of vocabulary listening to various sentence forms and structures. And I hope you're enjoying your learning experience. And here you are for the next video. Oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, press the bell icon to be notified of the new upcoming videos, and also good things have to be shared. So, sharing is a good thing. Share my channel with your friends and family, especially the ones who are struggling. Good luck, enjoy learning.
Do people in your country give gifts to one another?
Yes, people in my country give gifts to one another, and it gives the giver of the gift more happiness than the receiver of the gift. And if it happens during festivals, occasions, and visiting friends and family.
Do you give gifts?
Yes, I do. Because I receive a lot of gifts, I wouldn't know what to do with them. I need to pass them on to someone. At the same time, I do end up buying gifts for the ones whom I know what they want.
What is the best gift that you can think of?
The best gift that I can think of is kindness and the time that I could give it to them, apart from a material gift that goes along as a part of the package of gifts.
What do you do on your weekends?
On my weekends, I tend to relax with my family. I spend a lot of quality time with my children and husband, and I tend not to do much of work-related activities, but just keep it to my family-related personal as well as religious activities.
Do you like chores?
Interesting enough, I do like the chores. Most people don't, but for some reason, I do like certain household chores, and I thoroughly enjoy doing them.
What is your most favorite chore?
My most favorite chore is washing dishes. Not because I'm interested in washing dishes, but because I'm very much interested in playing with water. And washing dishes gives me a very reasonable and acceptable opportunity to play with water.
What is your least favorite chore?
My least favorite chore is food shopping, especially if I have to get ready and go to a market to purchase food. I don't mind online food shopping, but if I have to get out of my home and do food shopping, that's a chore that I would rather delegate than do it myself.
Which is a better option, online or offline shopping?
I think both are better in certain situations. Like there are products which are not available offline, and there are products that can be delivered within few hours of ordering, and in such circumstances online shopping is best. Whereas in certain scenarios where one needs to check the quality, texture, get to know the feel of the product and stuff like that, offline shopping would be ideal.
What is your dream destination for employment? Why?
My dream destination for employment is the UK. That's just because the rules and regulations that govern workplace environment is rather strict, and I do believe that having minimum working hours is much better for work-life balance than compared to other countries where the number of working hours are simply insane, and that isn't any good for individuals' physical health, mental health, or family health. And hence, my dream destination to work is the United Kingdom.
If you could go back to your childhood, what age would you choose?
If I would go back to my childhood, I would choose the 11th year of my life. And that's when I had really large number of really good friends, and my learning, happiness, everything was the maximum. And I would like to go back there and try to escalate my rapidity of learning and the levels of success to the highest possible extent. It's just a wish. I am content the way that life has turned out to be. But if I had an option to go back, it would be to the 11th year of my life.
What do you think is the best part about your childhood?
I think the best part about my childhood was the ridiculous number of hours that my parents would allow us to play, except the school hours and 2 hours in the evening study time. All the rest of the time was meant for us to play. So we really enjoyed spending time in play-related activities.
What is the least favorite part about your job?
The least favorite part of my job is that I need to travel. Travel a lot. I wish I didn't have to travel as much, but it is what it is, and it will remain as my least favorite part of my job.
Who is the person that you admire the most? Why?
The person that I admire the most is my mom. She was absolutely fantastic as a mom, and she was really good in delegating chores for us, and she would never leave us idle for a single moment. She had really strict rules in terms of sleeping times, waking times, study hours, play hours, eating quantities, and everything really. She was fantastic. It was hard growing up under the supervision of my mom, but I think she's the best mom in the world.
What was the scariest memory from your childhood?
The scariest memory from my childhood was a time where I was 6-year-old and I was meant to be following my siblings in order to get into a bus to go to a different location. And everyone got into the right bus except me. I don't know how I landed in the wrong bus, but I did land in the wrong bus, and one of my older siblings spotted me from the window and he shouted, "Hey, what are you doing in the wrong bus?" And hence I realized and quickly asked the conductor of the bus to let me out as quickly as possible, and the conductor passed me across the window into my elder brother's arms, and that was scary.
What is a gadget that you cannot live without?
The gadget that I cannot live without is my mobile phone, because my mobile phone wakes me up at the right time in the morning, reminds me of things from time to time, lets me attend meetings and a lot more, and hence probably I couldn't do life without my mobile phone.
If you have one day left all for yourself, what would you do?
I think if I am given one day left to all by myself and probably no tasks to do, I would potentially sleep for like 12 to 16 hours. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but I think I have a lot of sleep deprivation going on in my current situation. And if I'm given a day, probably I would make the most of it to catch up with my sleep debt.
What is the first thing that you say in the morning? Why?
The first thing I say in the morning is thank you. I thank God for the breath in my nostril and the beat of my heart. And I feel for my hands and legs, and if they are still working, I would say yet another thank you. That's only because I was very, very ill at a time where I couldn't use my limbs properly, and now that I'm able to use them, the very first word that I utter in the morning is thank you.
What is the first thing that you do in the morning? Why?
The first thing that I do in the morning is sit with my gratitude journal. It kind of helps me to start my day with a very, very good tone, and I have seen that the days that I miss my morning routine, sitting with my journal, haven't turned out as good as otherwise.
If you did not have to work to earn a living, what would you do?
If I didn't have to work to earn a living, I would still be doing exactly what I do. And the current job that I do gives me the maximum job satisfaction that a job can possibly render unto me, and hence there isn't going to be any change in what I do regardless of my need for employment or earning a livelihood.
What do you do to rejuvenate your energy? Why?
I sleep a minimum of 7 to 8 hours to rejuvenate my energy, because I often feel that the daily stress and strain of life can take out the sap of energy from human body and human mind, and this substantial duration of good quality sleep can restart my body and mind to reach its maximum potential in the subsequent day.
In your opinion, what is the secret to happiness?
I think, in my opinion, secret to happiness is able to look at life as a whole and always have a bigger picture in view rather than having a tunnel vision of today and now. And being able to look at the bigger picture helps me to see things in a better perspective than otherwise.
Who was your least favorite childhood teacher? Why?
My least favorite childhood teacher was a teacher who taught me physics, and she never forced us or had strong boundaries of discipline. She said, if you want to do your homework, you can, and most of us didn't, including myself. And at the time, I thought she was the best teacher, but very soon, within the same year, I quickly realized that she wasn't the best teacher that I could possibly have. And I do believe that teachers must have strong boundaries for students in terms of their coursework and assignment completion.
What is your biggest childhood regret?
My biggest childhood regret is that I didn't make efforts to play in the rain. I was often worried that I might suffer from flu if I got wet in the rain, and hence I always used umbrellas to prevent myself from getting wet in the rain. But in fact, because I like the rain so much, I could have actually enjoyed drenching myself in the rain and dancing in the rain, but I didn't. It remains a small but memorable regret of my childhood.
Is regret a good or a bad thing?
In a way, it is a good thing because it can prevent greater regrets in life. And having said that, I also admit that it's not always a good thing. It can be a bad thing because it kind of appears like a little hole on a very fulfilled past otherwise.
What is the best part of traveling?
The best part of traveling is the experience in itself, like seeing various places, seeing different people, watching different people, seeing the way they behave, way they dress up, the way that different cultures operate, and the experience as a whole is very, very interesting. Although the price tag is quite expensive, but I guess it's worth its price any day.
What is the worst part of traveling?
I think the worst part of traveling is the amount of enormous organization, planning, and expenditure it takes in order to have that traveling a reality. But I think it's worth the endeavor if the results are magnificent.
Do you like contact sports? Why or why not?
I do like contact sports just because it adds a lot of adventure to my life, and there are occasions where I do need the kick of that adventure, and hence I like them. Having said that, there are times where I have purposefully avoided them because there have been windows of or phases of my life where I just couldn't afford to get a sports injury. As a result, should there be an accident during the sport. So I have been very cautious in indulging in contact sports for this very reason.
Do you like to break the law? Why or why not?
I generally don't like to break the law because in my head it's so strongly ingrained that laws and rules are for our welfare, and I fear, it's a bit more than fear, I would say, I dread to break the rule or break the law just because I strongly believe that the consequences aren't going to be very pleasant.
Is attention span important? Why?
I think attention span is absolutely important, so is concentration. And attention span, or the duration of attention span, enables in the learning experience, and learning is at its best when we have the optimal attention span. It enables absorption of maximum information and retention of the learned information for longer periods of time, and also enables the application of the thus gained knowledge as part of learning experience during that significantly good attention span.
Do you like or dislike arguments? Why?
I dislike arguments. There are two reasons for it. The first one being the fact that there are going to be potentially unpleasant conversations involved in that argument. Secondly, but most importantly, the reason why I dislike arguments is that I always want to rather lose the argument and win the person, but I am not very sure if that will be the case in every single argument that comes up in life, and hence I am a bit skeptical about involving myself in an argument.
Why did you choose your current job?
I chose my current job because it utilizes all of my skills and talents, and hence being productive in my current role happens to be an effortless activity to me. At the same time, this job of mine helps me to feel energized even after 12 to 14 hours of work, and I think I have found my dream job, and hence I like my job. Hello friends, I hope you enjoy the video with question and answers for the part 1. Some questions you might think, oh my god, I have to speak so much. Yes, it might be beneficial to speak more. I'm not saying that you need to speak for 1 full minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but you should be able to demonstrate substantial level of English language skills in part 1, because it is part 1 during which your examiner decides the score that he or she would like to give you, because although you might demonstrate different level or significantly higher level of English speaking skill in your part 2 and part 3, part 1 kind of gives it away. So if someone makes a plenty of grammatical errors in part 1, it is quite likely that this person will make plenty of errors in part 2 and part 3 too. And if someone rarely or seldom makes errors, it is potentially likely that this person will be able to speak or handle part 2 and part 3 really well too. So it is an assumption. It can be different, but what I'm saying is first impressions do matter. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're equipping yourself with every single video that you watch from my channel with the skill, ability, confidence that you can do it. English is not my first language. There's no difference between most of you and me. None of us were born in English families, so we all learnt English. Just like how you are trying to learn English, I learnt English too. So if I could speak well, you could speak well too. Good luck. Enjoy learning English with me.